So Keir Starmer's fixing the British water industry. That's what he says. Interestingly, he's put a post out on X saying, in fact, let me read it verbatim. We're fixing Britain's broken water industry, tackling pollution and backing customers. No more neglect, no more excuses. We promise change, we're delivering it. Well, there's been a community note on that, which is where people can say whether they think that's true or not true. And they've added, so people reading that have added context by saying in the last 12 months, serious water pollution incidents have increased by 60%. Under the Labour government control. So that's the first thing about that. The second thing about that links to, lots of people always say to me, why did you become a journalist? Why did you want to be a journalist? And the answer was, well, I didn't really. I kind of just fell into it. But it's because my mind works in, I say, a very different way to lots of other people's minds. It probably doesn't. It probably works exactly the same in as much as we get from A to B, but I go on a very different route to get there. And by asking questions and seeing things and linking things that not everybody else always does, it's a bit of a pain in the arse sometimes, if I'm totally honest. Oh, by the way, please like, subscribe and share. There you go. Should have said that at the beginning. So I'm reading his tweet, and let's remind ourselves, he says he's going to abolish Ofwat and establish a single powerful regulator to prevent water pollution and protect families from bill hikes. So he's going to abolish Ofwat and establish a single powerful regulator. Now, lots of people will read that and go, well, that's fantastic because, Ofwat isn't really doing its job. We are being hit with increasing bills all the time. The water industry is a complete joke. I read that and go, how? How are you going to abolish Ofwat? With what? What are you going to put there instead of them? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not singing the praises of Ofwat, but I'm looking at Keir Starmer's tweet going, there's no substance to this, there's no detail to this. If you're going to abolish Ofwat, for a start, what's going to happen to all the people that work for Ofwat? So are they just going to be unemployed? Are they going to go on the scrap heap? We learnt yesterday that there are 178,000 more people unemployed. So are they going to join that? Where are the Ofwat employees going to go? What's going to become of them? And then who's going to do this? So he says the government's going to do this. Well, who in government is going to do this? Who's going to oversee this? How do we know that? God, if it's Ed Miliband, we're absolutely screwed. So how do we know this is going to be done properly? Who are they going to be accountable to? How do we know? How do we have any say? Because let's not forget, it's Keir Starmer always says my government. Well, actually, it's our government. So what's our involvement in this? We drink the water, we shower in the water, we wash our clothes with the water. Do we have any say in this? People are going to turn around and say that would be a public company. So my next thing is, how much is this going to cost? Because it's not cheap, is it? Is this going to be a rebrand? Or is this going to be out with the old and in with the new? So if it's out with the old, as I've said, what happens to the old? And if it's in with the new, who is the new? How are we going to get them? What are we going to do? Is this set up? Is this whole structure set up? It's not like saying we're going to have a new, tea trolley department where 3 people are going to be in charge of what's on the tea trolley. This is massive. Now, word on the street is this could cost £1 trillion and take a decade to come into play. I think that's a massive underestimate. I don't think that's anywhere close. But what I think is when I read this, I think there's absolutely no substance to it. There's too many who, what, where, when and whys. And the why is a bit Bridget Phillipson-ish. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, we know that Ofwat is kind of broke, but we don't know if it's all broke. We don't know if there's any fixing that can be done. And yet here we are scrapping an entire massive system and replacing it with Keir Starmer's rhetoric. Are you in? I'm not. So they were some of my notes. Now, we're told from this announcement that we, as the customer, can expect a 30% rise in our bills over the next 5 years. Well, on top of what we're already paying, we've had nothing but rises. What are we getting back for that? What will we see in this transition period? What's going to actually physically change? What's going to be the difference between what we've got now and what we're going to have? How is this going to be tangible for you and me? I feel like there's no weight to this. Now, at the bottom of this tweet, he says he's delivering for working people. So this is a real bugbear of mine, that the Labour Party are delivering for working people. What if you're not a working people? What if you're not under Keir Starmer's working people? He's delivering Ofwat, or the rebrand of Ofwat, or the regeneration of Ofwat, or the delivery of whatever Ofwat's going to be for working people. So if you're not a working person, where does your sewage go? Do you not get part of this? Because this is only for working people. And it's something that the Labour Party do. We've got it with education. They're delivering for the 93% of kids in education that are in the state system, but they're not delivering for the 7% of kids that are in the independent sector, but they're still children and it's still education, but they have segregated them. So they've segregated children in state education from independent education, and they're now segregating us as a society into working people and to not working people. But we don't know what working people are. We think it's people without savings, which is effectively all of us under Labour's government, but we don't know, because Keir Starmer won't tell us what a working person is. I mean, it's not him, is it? Let's be honest. So what happens if you're not a working person to this new tweet, which is we are going to abolish Ofwat and establish a single powerful regulator to prevent water pollution and protect families from bill hikes for working people. But the families that face the bill hikes that aren't working people, well, we're not doing it for you. You know, and it's tenuous, and it could be said to be splitting hairs. It could be said to be being a bit pedantic, but it's what he's saying. The Prime Minister of this country is segregating us all into different brackets. He is rebuilding society Keir Starmer's way, the way that he wants it, but he's not telling us who we are and where we're supposed to be. And if we complain against it, then we're just basically right-wingers and we're lobbyists. But there is no clarity. There's no substance to anything he says. So I'm not saying this with any level of surprise. But when we're talking about something that could cost £1 trillion of our money, not his, our money, and could take a decade, I want a little bit more than that. I don't want just to hear vacuous headlines that he thinks makes him sound good and decisive and I am man, I am Prime Minister, I make big tough decision. No, off. I want to know what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. If you're going to abolish Ofwat, you better have a very thick dossier of what's going to replace it. And none of us have seen it. So as far as I'm concerned, this is just all hot air. This means nothing. This is a waste of a tweet. It's a waste of an announcement. It will come to nothing. It will never exist. So who's going to hold him to account for that? And you might turn around and say, well, how do you know it's not going to exist? You know, we haven't seen yet. Well, we have, haven't we? We've seen the past year. So we know that there's a massive disconnect between what Keir Starmer says and what actually happens, unless, of course, it's Rachel Reeves and then all doom hell breaks loose, doesn't it? But if we honestly think that we're going to see this in the next 10 years, I think we're all smoking something. I think what we're probably going to see is more chaos, because as with all of their plans, welfare, education, pensioners, farmers, now pubs, it's all written on the back of a playing card, and it isn't the ace of spades.